Well, we gave you the background on Earth Day, and nearly 50 years after its creation, it is still a necessary day for us, or is it a necessary day for us to observe? Well, Hallie Pilot joins us now with our next story, which is just that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. So my goal with this week, with the Earth Day series is to kind of talk to different experts here on the Suncoast who represent different areas, in relation to our climate. So we'll have a political one, a city point of view. We're starting with the political point of view. So I talked to Keith Fitzgerald, a political science professor at New College, to see where he thinks we are now.
In 1970, there were pollution levels you could see and feel.
Where in the middle of the day there would just be smog. In Pittsburgh, for example, the fog would descend and it would eat the paint off of cars.
Sparking social movements from all walks of life, trying to bring this conversation about the Earth to the spotlight.
A lot of the young people maybe looked a little hippie-ish, and so there's an association in people's heads to this day that environmentalists are tree huggers.
48 years later, Fitzgerald says that's not the case.
If you do a hard-headed analysis of where we are, it's more pertinent than ever that we take the Earth seriously and start thinking about how we manage the risk that comes from climate change and other environmental issues.
He says particularly here in Florida.
Sea level is rising, and that's going to cause huge infrastructure problems for all of our cities, all of our businesses.
Fitzgerald says even a tiny sea level rise coupled with an approaching hurricane season should have us worrying about resilience.
How we protect buildings that are right next to the coast, how we improve sewer systems, how we improve transportation. All of that we've got to get serious about.
Which he says major multinational corporations are already doing, building risk management on climate change into business plans. But he hopes the government can also play a role in providing incentives for businesses to reduce their carbon footprint.
Several states, as an example of that, are experimenting with a carbon tax, where you would tax items for consumption on the basis of how much carbon was emitted in their production. I'm not going to say we're doing this here tomorrow, but that's the kind of thing
he says could happen down the road, saying Earth Day is more necessary than ever.
Taking care of the Earth is no longer an issue just for kids or for people who are self-described as environmentalists. It's now part of doing business on a big scale.
With a look at Earth Day, I'm Hallie Pilot.
So there you have it. He still thinks it's necessary, and with that carbon tax, it's really interesting because he said with that kind of tax, it wouldn't be more revenue driven. It would be more of just get businesses to care and more of an incentive for them to care. Okay, why should we reduce our carbon footprint? Maybe they need a penalty.
I heard him say Pittsburgh, so that always, but it's funny, I have to add on that. It has changed so much because of the steel mills. My mother would tell me stories when they would walk to church, which is near the Homestead Steel Mill, and it would be just fog everywhere in the mornings because of how prevalent the fog was, and now it's completely switched over. And it's a good example to lead by of how they transitioned from that.
The visuals he said of how the fog would eat the paint off cars. I mean, it must have been so powerful. So we've certainly come a long way, but still a ways to go, I guess.
Yep, and looking forward to more of your reports through the week. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.